CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 78 of Dual Destinies. Last time, we managed to prove that the fingerprints that were left on the lighter were actually not Athena's. Fulbright forged the evidence. Apparently, he was a secret agent who was coerced by the Phantom. But Athena's not buying that, Apollo's not buying that, Phoenix is not buying that. So basically, we're creating some tag team effort to basically take him down. So let's go. Are you grateful to Prosecutor Blackwood for what he's done for you? Of course I am, and I'm truly grateful from the bottom of my heart. Athena, where are you going with these questions? I have yet to hear a single emotion behind any of Detective Fulbright's words, boss. The suspicion against him has been cleared up, but he's not feeling happy at all. What does that mean? We may not have any evidence, but the heart doesn't lie. That's it. With your special ability, we just might be able to stop him. Your Honor, the detective has been deeply traumatized by our accusations.
Yes, well, even before all this, I thought he was a rather odd fellow.
If he doesn't get counseling right away, who knows what might happen to him? He might go on a killing spree. He had access to that gun. We don't know what else he's got going on. For all we know, he could be like James Bond and some killer Batmobile-like car, and he's gonna drive down the street.
Prosecutor Blackwell, can you believe the nonsense the defense is spouting?
Fulbright, I think you'd better have that counseling. Furthermore, I think that you really need some shock therapy. I have just the thing that can help you out of that.
What are you doing, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Something I've been wanting to do for over a year.
And then Simon just takes out the shackles and puts them on Fulbright's legs.
Let's see how you like it.
And then Simon just activating the shocker.
How do you like it? How do you like the shock?
Not you too.
You've been making batty remarks ever since you were accused of being the Phantom. Such as, you're an undercover investigator and your family has been taken hostage. I know for a fact that no one in your family would want to be associated with you. I fear you might have finally lost it.
But I thought you believed me!
Silence.
Oh, how you amuse me so!
What's going on here?
That was an excellent bit of psychological manipulation just now, Simon. I knew you would catch on, Athena.
Huh? Mind filling me in here?
Hee. Guess we left you in the dust, huh, Mr. Wright? Simon was only pretending to believe Detective Fulbright, because he knew I'd notice if there was a lack of emotions like joy or relief in his response. So he gave me the chance to take a listen. And listen I did to the voice of Detective Fulbright's heart.
What? You two were working together just now?
Come now, Athena. Show us what's inside Fulbright's heart.
Yeah, the one thing that is interesting is basically the fact that just Athena and Simon actually share a hand slap animation. Where basically just Athena does the one hand slap just like Simon. It's a Space Center tradition. It's the mark of the Cosmos Space Center gang. You slam with one hand or you go home.
You got it. Time to check the instant replay. Widget, mon ami, let's do it.
Okay, I'm not gonna read that text again. Yes, absolutely nothing. Even with all his over-the-top expressions and gestures, he's registering no emotion at all.
It's just like I thought, and right in line with the Phantom Psych profile. Detective Fulbright, this lack of emotion proves you're the Phantom. Hey, what's going on? And what's happening with my emails? My emails are being deleted. And oh no, I'm getting some spam emails now. I don't want a timeshare.
Wait, hold on. What do you think you're doing, Detective? Me? I'm not doing anything.
He's trying to hack into the Mood Matrix program. I can't do anything with it like this. Ah! Fancy device you have there, but I'll tolerate no cheating, thank you. Your gay little watch is making Taka upset. Ha ha ha! Sorry about that. As an undercover agent, I tend to use my secret arsenal without even thinking. More like as a spy. Thanks, Prosecutor Blackwell. There! Now that you can't talk to me anymore, I dare you try and hide your lack of emotions from us. Ha ha ha! Lack of emotions? What are you talking about? Of course I have feelings. As a matter of fact, you wounded me very deeply with that accusation. What's going on? All of a sudden I'm getting an overwhelmingly happy reading.
Oh, but he's literally crying as a river over there.
Oops, my mistake. How about this? Gah! Yikes, now he's angry all of a sudden.
What's he trying to pull?
Like as not, it would appear our friend is not completely without emotions. It's just as it says in Dr. Sykes' profile on the Phantom. The subject has a unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. Oh, I get it. So he has some emotion, right? Precisely. Which leads me to wonder why you can't sense any emotion from him at all. I believe it's most likely because he is controlling his emotions.
Very good, Prosecutor Blackwell. You are correct. It's the result of my daily training. A very important skill for us undercover investigators, you know. More like for us spies.
Seriously. But I wonder why he suddenly showed several strong emotions. Wait a minute. I think I know. I sense there's a feeling you're trying to hide with your exaggerated emotions, detective.
Ha ha ha! Feeling I'm trying to hide? That's a good one. You're the one who have been saying I'm the Phantom because I don't have any emotions. I was just trying to show you the range of deep emotions I truly possess.
Then you have no objections to me analyzing you, right?
No, analyze away. But I will say it again, I am not the Phantom. And be forewarned that your analysis will have no effect, because you're about to see what an undercover agent can really do.
Okay, so anyways, for this one. Okay. Yeah, it's the moon rock that you gotta present. Yeah, where this is the only one that's consistent. I found it. I found the one emotion you're truly feeling. What? Hidden in the middle of that chaotic storm, I saw one emotion that never disappeared. When you talked about the moon rock. You felt a fear that wouldn't fade. Fear, huh? A fear that a man with hardly any emotions feels, huh? And it was a response to that moon rock? Detective Fulbright, I presume you feel fear concerning the moon rock because... You lost it! You lost the precious moon rock you went to so much trouble to get, didn't you? And that frustration has turned into a fear in your heart.
Oh, it's so frustrating. I can't stand it. I'm not so sure a man who could make that 20-foot leap would feel fear about that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Didn't the topic of what a spy might fear the most come up in our discussions earlier? Of course, that's it. Enough, Fulbright. Just tell us the Phantom's true identity.
I don't know. He was very careful to hide it. He has top secret information for all kinds of corporations and countries. So there's a number of organizations that would want him dead. If people believed I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Why, I bet even now. There are assassins lurking nearby. This case is about the Phantom after all.
Detective Fulbright, I think I know why you would feel right. Yeah, but now I'm back to that whole theory of basically it being one step ahead tango. Basically where he was at the ruins of this courthouse an entire day early. Basically, he's been hiding in this courtroom ever since the bombing occurred. Because he knew that eventually the case would be tried here on an unofficial trial. He was one step ahead of it. You were afraid that the moon rock will somehow reveal your identity. If his identity were revealed, he would be killed immediately. That's certainly enough to make even the Phantom feel afraid. Me? Afraid? I don't know what you're talking about. So there really is something about the moon rock that would reveal his identity. Apparently so. Wait a minute. Maybe the Phantom didn't so much as steal the moon rock, but more like he had to take it with him. Because there was something on it that would reveal his true identity.
Hold it!
Hop up and away! Where do you think you're going? Me? I'm not going anywhere. Is it just me, or was he going to use that weird watch thing to try and get away? How many more of those toys does he have, and where can I get myself some? Detective Fulbright, you will answer honestly to this court right now. Why do you feel fear in connection with the moon rock? In justice we trust! No emotions, Mr. Lawyer. Evidence is everything. I'm the Phantom because I'm afraid. Don't make me laugh. Yeah! And what was that just now? But all human beings have hearts and experience emotions. Sometimes analyzing a case from a psychological perspective is the best way to find the truth. Eek! It's all just a waste of time. All your efforts at analysis serve no purpose. And now, in this dark age of the law, nobody would believe your claim that it's effective. In an era where evidence is fabricated, do you truly expect feelings to be accepted as proof? And where exactly is your proof that I feared the moon rock anyways? Well, I admit I don't have any conventional proof, but I still say that examining a person's heart has its merits. Oh, really? Then why don't you listen carefully with those special ears of yours? Listen to the voices of the hearts of the people in the gallery. All I hear is distrust. As you can see, the people are on my side, because all they see is a strange little girl using a weird little machine. But it's not like I use analytical psychology to falsely accuse people. Uh-oh, he's got Athena doubting herself. Miss Sykes and analytical psychology has breathed new life into the courtroom. It has freed the hearts of many witnesses, and has been the key in getting to the truth. Ha ha ha! What nonsense! Your Honor, the defense's claim is a false one! I don't feel any kind of fear when it comes to the moon rock.
I see. Very well, I will give the opinion of this court. In a trial, I don't feel that a person's emotions are quite as compelling as actual evidences.
But Your Honor! There, you see? Nobody believes you and your trumped-up charges!
However, I do believe Miss Sykes' analyses have contributed to making the truth clear. I have seen her do this firsthand several times already.
Surely you jest. So does this mean you will accept my findings in this trial, Your Honor?
Yes, I believe your claim, Miss Sykes. I think there is merit in examining why the witness feels fear in regard to the moon rock. That is the court's opinion on this matter.
Then there's a win for me. No, a win for analytical psychology. Now, Mr. Phantom, you will tell this court the reason for your fear. Analytical psychology? My fears? Fine! I'll show you precisely why those abstract things can't be considered evidence. My fear of the moon rock. I felt fear when I thought that about the moon rock because it reminded me of the Phantom. Yes, I'm very afraid of him because he took my family hostage. What reason would the Phantom have to be afraid of the moon rock? None at all. So the very fact I'm afraid of the moon rock means I'm not him. In fact, I'm on the side of justice. And there you have it. Now do you see why I'm afraid of the moon rock? Sure, you sound convincing enough. But so does any 2-bit con artist. It's all meaningless in the absence of evidence.
fear the laser watch, Mr. Blackquill. And then just full right firing off the laser watches. Boom, boom, boom.
The Phantom is like the mist. No flesh, no bones. My sword alone cannot cut it. Right, Dono? With your deductive reasoning and the body of evidence before us, let us send this miserable Phantom fellow to the other world together.
You and I, Prosecutor Blackquill, we have a duty to bring the Phantom down and restore the people's faith in the courts.
Indeed, by covering for Athena, I allowed the Phantom to escape. And as a prosecutor, I gave birth to the people's mistrust with my murder conviction.
I bear part of the responsibility as well. I accepted evidence from a shady girl and presented it without really thinking about it. For being suspected of forging evidence and losing my attorney's badge as a result. The two of us and the Phantom were there at the beginning of the Dark Age of the law.
Then it is also our burden to cut away the foul specter we created, is it not? Until all that remains is the righteousness of the court and the faith of the people.
Trust, understanding, fragile ideals of the masses who are controlled by emotion. Humans can't truly trust each other, which is exactly why the illusion of trust is so enticing.
Objection!
Once two people overcome their misgivings, that's where real trust is to be found. You're free to believe what you want, but trust like that is stronger than you and your lies anyways. Okay, so this is the last normal cross-examination. Sorry, I mistook it. I actually got things mixed up. Okay, anyways, time for the third game over by constantly presenting things. Don't you find this statement to be a bit odd?
You have the question wrong.
Huh?
I believe you meant to say, don't you find my head to be a bit odd?
Huh? He'd better not be talking about my hair.
Yes. If you choose to wave your sword at contradictions that don't exist, prepare to have the soundness of your mind brought into question, right, Dono?
Subtle, aren't you?
I'll have no wild swords waving in my courtroom, Mr. Wright.
Maybe I'd better listen to the testimony again. Yeah, anyways, this next bad ending, the last one, basically. It's very similar to the bad ending at the end of Turnabout. At the end of Turnabout Reclaimed, where basically if you basically get a guilty verdict when Marlon is presenting on the first day, when he's doing his first presentation on the second day of the trial. You can get a bad ending where Sasha's proven innocent, but then Orla is sent to be put down. So yeah, basically you get that. It's very similar to this one in that basically the ending is very mild, at least compared to the first bad ending, where basically Simon's executed, Athena quits the agency, Apollo stops smiling. Okay, I think I failed to read that one. Okay, if we get that one, I'll read it again. No, we're not consulting.
Objection!
Okay. I know this is a little tedious at just writing the meter down. But it's the only way for us to see the ending right here and now.
Objection!
At least, yeah, the one thing is that I have to say about the Investigations games, particularly Investigations 1, you had so many bad endings, where basically just so many different circumstances of if you fail the case. Where just you had so many of them in all of the chapters. It was really cool, where basically you kind of wanted to fail just to see what the endings would be like.
Objection!
Don't you find, okay. And time for the last bad ending.
I'm afraid that's as far as we can go. At this time, it appears you can't prove that the witness is the Phantom. All we can do is look forward to seeing what the prosecution can dig up in the future.
After that, the Phantom vanished completely. The cases remained unsolved,
and we were never able to uncover the truth. As the days passed, the dark age of the law only grew darker and darker. Yeah, basically, as you can see, just very much mild compared to the fact of Aura killing Trucy. Or Aura killing Athena. Okay. It only reminded you of the Phantom? Don't make me laugh. You are the Phantom. Evidence is everything in a court of law. Or did you forget? I was forced to testify over a silly thing like feelings. But those tactics won't work from here on out. You need real evidence. I hate to admit it, but he's right.
Hold it!
Your family? Like who in your family specifically? Oh, I don't know. Like, maybe my lover, for example. And then Simon, yes, you have no lover. No one loves you. For example, maybe, we need a more concrete answer than that. Ha ha ha, maybe my mother, my son, or my daughter. Maybe it's all of them. I'm so sad and worried. I miss them so much. Ha 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 ha. And then Simon, I can just imagine him just in the corner just reeling back at the thought of basically Fulbright having children.
Oh, he's obviously lying!
Look how upset I am! Is it any wonder I followed the Phantom's orders?
Hold it!
You can't think of a single reason the Phantom might be afraid of the Rock? I thought the Phantom wasn't even supposed to have any feelings. How could someone like me, with my wealth of emotions, be expected to understand the guy? The Phantom, a person with very few emotions, would only be afraid of something really big, like his cover getting blown big. I'm willing to bet that the moon rock has something to do with his identity, but what? Maybe the Phantom's fingerprints are on the rock.
But fingerprints can be wiped off!
Then maybe he wanted the rock so bad he literally drooled on it and left his DNA.
We're dealing with a spy here, Athena, not a slob!
True. But maybe the DNA part isn't too far off. Huh? Something unexpected happened to him during the incident 7 years ago. I just know I have something that can show why the Phantom is afraid of the moon rock. I'll just continue with my testimony while you're pondering then, if you don't mind.
Hold it!
And how afraid are you exactly?
I'm so scared I start to shake even when I see the moon in the sky!
Do you shake when you see Miss Sykes' earring?
Well, to be honest, since the very first time I met Miss Sykes, I felt more than a little frightened of her.
I guess some people just inspire that much fear in others.
Well, part of the reason was that I heard that she chucked a police officer at a tiny man.
Mr. Wright, you were thinking something mean-spirited and rude, weren't you? Haha, of course not. Must beef up on mind-reading defenses.
Now do you understand? The very fact that I'm afraid of the moon rock proves that.
Hold it!
After all that you've done, how dare you speak the word justice?
Injustice we trust! I'll say as much as I want, and with absolute confidence. Whatever I say is just. That's how it works in the Stark Age of the law.
Gah! He won't get the best of me with that twist argument of his. I'll find a way to get him right where I want him. Detective Fulbright, or rather the Phantom, feels fear in regard to the moon rock. It probably has something to do with being afraid that his true identity will be revealed. Right, so so that's why the Phantom had to go take the moon rock with him 7 years ago. In that case, if we had something to show the real cause of Fulbright's fear, we just might be able to expose his true identity. Okay. Okay, so basically what we're trying to do is prove that the blood got on the moon rock.
Objection!
Okay, there we go. Yeah, for a second there, basically I was thinking, oh, is the game going to make us present the Hope Capsule because the moon rock was hidden in there? Detective Fulbright, I assume you know what this is. Of course! That's the knife the Phantom used to kill Clay Turan! That's right, and the exact same type of knife Miss Sykes used 7 years ago when she stabbed the Phantom's hand. Yes, that was discussed earlier, as I recall. He dodged at first, so I only got his clothes, but I tried again. And this time you got him, didn't you? I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Miss Sykes then said that she remembered the culprit's bleeding. It's my theory that the culprit's blood got on the moon rock, and he was afraid that if the blood was analyzed, his true identity would be revealed. That explains why the Phantom had to remove the moon rock from the crime scene.
You mean if we ran the analysis now, we'd know who the Phantom is?
Ha 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 ha! Yes, I suppose so! But unfortunately, the moon rock in question is missing! That may be so, but I'm certain I can explain what happened to it in great detail.
You can?
Of course. Not. You don't actually expect us to believe that, do you? Because you don't fool me. Ah! What this court needs is a bully-free zone. Ah, the infamous sword of the beguiling bluff. Its edge is without compare. Come now, ready it with me, and show us just how finely it cuts. Your Honor, this is an outrage. Oh, I mean, this is an outrage. Gah! Go on, Right Dodo. Let's start with something that's been bothering me for a while. Now, the culprit supposedly removed the moon rock from the lab. But in this video of him, it's nowhere to be seen.
Oh, you're right.
But here's something to consider. What if the Phantom hid the moon rock somewhere at the scene of the crime? Good thinking, boss. Security was super tight at the Space Center back then. All that in spite of the Space Center having very strict security in those days. All personnel effects were examined thoroughly, coming or going. You couldn't even smuggle a withered leaf through those checkpoints.
Does this mean that the moon rock is still somewhere in the Space Center?
In the name of justice, I proclaim that's impossible. And why's that? The Space Center was searched from top to bottom, and especially the lab. But the moon rock was never found. Ah, how could I forget about that? Aside from a true fact, we still haven't a grasp on how it was done. But the Phantom made the moon rock vanish into the ether. There's no way it just disappeared. Logic and evidence tells us otherwise. The Phantom didn't have the moon rock on him when he left the lab. Yet a thorough police search didn't turn up anything. And it never turned up in the 7 years after that either. The Phantom made the rock disappear without physically removing it himself. But how? There must have been a way. Think, Phoenix, think! How did the moon rock vanish from the robotics lab?
So, can you or can you not show what happened to the moon rock, Mr. Wright?
Yes, I can. Your Honor. What? Oops, sorry, I mean... What?
In that case, let's have your answer, Mr. Wright. How did the Phantom make the moon rock disappear from the crime scene?
Take that!
That's the Hope capsule, right? The one that went up with the Hat 1 rocket.
He couldn't carry the rock out, but he couldn't leave it in the center to be found either. So there was only one safe place to stash it. The Hope capsule that was there in the lab that day.
Yes, and the team must have loaded it onto the Hope space probe eventually. But if that's what happened, then the moon rock would have just launched up into space along with the rocket.
Preposterous! It would mean that for these past 70 years, the moon rock was... Exactly. The Phantom got rid of the moon rock in the most cosmic way he knew how. It was out there in the depths of space. Aboard the Hope space probe. Yeah, just that zoom in looks like just Phoenix turning into Galactus.
Order in the court!
I understand now. The Phantom's original scheme was to sabotage the Hat One anyways. The villain, he used his primary objective to conveniently kill two birds with one stone.
That's right. He planned for the moon rock to be turned into cosmic dust out in space, thereby destroying the one piece of evidence that could reveal his true identity. But Mr. Starbuck and the others foiled the Phantom's plot. Ugh. The Hope Space probe sailed off safely on its mission and returned 7 years later, with the capsule in tow. Yeah! If we analyze the blood on the moon rock, it should make one thing crystal clear, that you were the Phantom all along, Detective Fulbright.
So we killed Clay just so we could get the moon rock back?
I believe so. His original assignment may have just been to sabotage the Hat too, but at the same time, he also had to retrieve the evidence of his crime 7 years ago. So that's why he went to the boarding lounge and attacked Clay as he made his escape out of the rocket with the capsule. But in the end, it was all he could do just to escape himself, so he didn't get the capsule.
Clay must have done everything he could to stop Fulbright. He probably hung onto that capsule for all it was worth until his last breath.
Oh, this is so funny. You make me laugh. You really do. Boy, he's totally out of whack now. It's game over for you, Detective Fulbright. Why don't you just admit to it all now? There's nothing to admit. I'm Bobby Fulbright, undercover investigator, I tell you. I'm not the Phantom. The blood on the rock is just another one of his schemes. A trap!
Now I'm not sure what to think. I suppose if the Phantom is a spy worth his salt, a trap is not out of the question.
But in that case, you could say anything is a trap.
That's what makes a trap. I've been framed into taking the blame for the Phantom. Your Honor, I believe further investigation is in order.
Silence.
Further investigation. More like plotting your escape. But no more. I will bring you to justice myself if I must. Here and now.
I guess it's time to show you just what I'm really capable of. Die, Simon Blackwell! Hey, you guys aren't really... Yeah, and then Andrew just casually shoves the Phantom aside. Move it aside, criminal scum! I'm taking the stand. I am the light of the series. I'll do what I want. It looks like I made it just in time. Edgeworth? I have good news for you, Mr. Wright. I have uncovered some very crucial facts. Did you find something out about the Phantom's true identity? You might say that. I started by looking into the first people on the scene 7 years ago. All three, an employee and two officers, were registered in the robot's recognition systems, but none of them looked the least bit like Detective Fulbright. That's not good. But there's more. I've yet to share my most important finding. Mr. Wright, Prosecutor Blackwell, you'd best brace yourselves. Uh-oh. The man you see there before you, Bobby Fulbright, is already long dead. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? An unidentified body that was found a year ago has now been proven to possess Bobby Fulbright's fingerprints.
Then does that mean...
Yes, that man there is an imposter pretending to be Bobby Fulbright. An imposter?
Then this man, he's sus!
Your Honor, your baldness, please quit while you're ahead.
Who in the world is he?
Another your trickery. If you will not reveal yourself to us, then I shall do it for you.
What the? No! His face!
Aw, looks like you did. Look what you did to my mask.
Mask? What is the meaning of this, witness?
Okay, you got me. I guess I have to show you who I really am now.
Wait, but that's...
Hey, Apollo! Yep, it's me, Solomon Starbuck.
Mr. Starbuck, but that can't be right! You can't really be the Phantom, can you?
Silence.
Of course not! The real Starbuck was aboard the Hat One, which was sent to be destroyed!
Yeah, this is just another mask. I mean, didn't I tell you? I'm an undercover investigator. I can change identities at will. I can be anyone I want.
Objection!
Not so fast! I have the Phantom Psych profile right here. If we compile a Psych profile on you and compare the results, it will prove that you're the Phantom.
It's time for me to show you the real meaning of the phrase, the end justifies the means.
That voice! Those words!
I cannot accept such evidence here, Miss Sykes.
Professor Means' mask!
I'll take what I want, and by any means necessary. Now, give me the evidence.
But just that Means face right there, just Means face on that costume is just so cursed. Huh?
Time to take out the trash. Permanently.
How could you?
Now do you see how powerful the end justifies the means can be?
Silence!
How pathetic! You can't even speak without wearing another man's face.
But that's the life of an undercover agent for you. My real face has no meaning or value to me at all.
Or perhaps it really is the case that you don't even know who you are anymore.
Sorry, just was coughing something up.
What must you see when you look in the mirror, Mr. Phantom? Not an awful lot, I'd wager.
Well, aren't you just the master of psychology, Blackwell? That's right. I don't know who I am. I'm always living at someone else for my assignments. I don't remember what my face looks like. Or even my personality, or what my personality was like. My face, memories, personality, beliefs, emotions, and soul. I left them all behind. I have no self. I am no one. I am nothing but an endless abyss. What's with this guy? Is he even still human? And now, we resume with your lesson, Professor Wright. Oh, huh? I believe you made this argument earlier. If you were to analyze the blood on the moon rock, you could prove that I am the Phantom. I believe there was blood on the moon rock in that capsule. Now that we know you aren't even Bobby Fulbright, your claims of a phantom trap won't work anymore. Then why don't you bring this moon rock in? This decisive evidence from the Hope Capsule. I think I'll do just that. Get ready, because the Hope Capsule is about to seal your... Village! It was the courtroom bombing from the other day. The capsule was there in the courtroom as evidence, and was blown to smithereens. It looks like you finally got on. Full marks for the defense of her efforts. But what a shame your hope was lost in that courtroom explosion. So that's the real reason this courtroom was blown up. It was all for the Phantom to destroy that one piece of evidence.
I can't believe it. Have we really reached a dead end after coming all this way? Has the only evidence we have on this guy really been destroyed? How dare you continue to call me the Phantom? As I've said all along, I'm just a nameless undercover agent.
Objection!
And the defense will continue to assert that you are the Phantom. Furthermore, we have proof. Or at least a prayer.
I'm afraid that won't do, Mr. Wright.
At least put some weight behind your swing, right, Dono?
I know, I'm trying. There's only one thing I can unmask this menace, the moon rock. But that was blown to bits in the courtroom bombing. And yet, is it really gone without a trace? What if some tiny part, some little fragment still exists? Yes, and as you can see, the stolen moon rock there too. That strange black and yellow thing on the left side of the picture?
Very well, Mr. Wright. Let's see your proof. What evidence will finally prove the Phantom's identity?
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Isn't that the bomb that blew up the courtroom? And the moonrock along with it? Are you saying this will reveal the Phantom's identity?
Yes, Your Honor. Focus your attention on this photo taken after the bombing, specifically right here. The siren, the lug nut, the washers.
Take that!
Please take a look at this newspaper article.
This article about the Hat won?
Now please note the strange black and yellow rock there on the left. That's the moon rock. And when we look at this photo of the bomb fragments, see how there is a rock-like object with the same coloration?
Oh my, yes, I see it.
It would seem that the moon rock was much more durable than the Phantom thought. If we take a look at all the fragments that the police found, we'll likely find one with blood. And DNA testing on the blood will prove that the witness is indeed the Phantom.
Unbelievable! But that's impossible.
A surprise to be sure. That's one bloody tough rock. Let us have the fragments tested straight away. Oh, and you'll be having a DNA test too, fool bright.
Bailiff, contact the police department immediately and order the testing. Prosecutor Blackwell, what did the test results show?
There was a rock fragment that had blood on it that appeared to be several years old. DNA testing revealed. Well, I'm sure you know full well what it revealed.
They confirmed it was the witness's blood, didn't they?
There's no use in trying to talk your way out of this and talk your way out of it anymore. Admit it, you're the Phantom.
Objection!
Huh?
Mr. Wright, did you just raise an objection to yourself?
No, I didn't say a word. That was my objection, Apollo.
Huh?
Why? It was a pretty good objection too, don't you think? But now I can't help but wonder why the Phantom would have a Phoenix mask on. Was the Phantom basically thinking of Plan C, where basically if basically he got away from this case and just out of a precaution just to keep Phoenix from looking into it, he'd kill Phoenix and take his place? You know, I can't help but think of that as an AU, where basically just Phantom kills Phoenix and assumes his identity from here on out. Now he's me.
So, did you have an objection or not, Mr. Wright?
Huh? Oh, no, not really, Your Honor.
No, not you, Mr. Wright. I mean the witness, Mr. Wright.
Could this trial get any more insane? Mr. Wright, this fragment of rock in the photograph, and those just like it. How can you be sure they're pieces of the same moon rock that was at the robotics lab? Care to explain what you mean? Well, there may have been a rock or two in the courtroom that had my blood on it. But how do you know they're not just rocks? You can't prove that they're the moon rock, right?
Objection!
Don't be absurd! Just compare the fragment with the rock in the newspaper article. Anybody can see that they're the same. They have the exact same coloration.
Objection!
But maybe some other rock with the same coloration happened to be in the courtroom. It's highly unlikely a rock with such a unique appearance just happened to be there. But you can't deny it's a possibility.
Objection!
But your blood was found on one of the fragments!
Apollo, there's nothing suspicious about my blood being on a piece of rock.
And why not?
I know it sounds like an excuse, but several years ago I tripped and fell in this very courtroom, and it was hurt pretty badly. Maybe that's how my blood found its way onto a piece of rubble. Even he must realize how ridiculous that sounds. And yet, I suppose it's not completely out of the question. Ha ha ha! I see you're starting to sweat, Mr. Wright. I thought that the worst of times are when lawyers are had to force their biggest smiles. You're the last person I want to hear that from. Well, then why don't we get those fragments analyzed? We could ask an expert to verify if they were from the moon rock in the robotics lab or not.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that just isn't going to be possible. And why not? In order to prove that the fragments are from what you say they're from, you'd need a sample of the moon rock from 7 years ago to compare it with. But that moon rock doesn't exist anymore, and there's no sample data left either. So you see, short of going back in time, there's no way to prove that any of the fragments are from that moon rock. Oh, no! There's really no way to prove it? Hahaha. Are you finally ready to throw in the towel?
Objection!
So the moon rock doesn't exist anymore, huh? That's right. It was such a valuable rock too. A shame, really. But it's lost to us forever. He's wrong. It's not completely lost. There's another piece of it right here by our side. A shining fragment of hope that can turn everything around. The final piece of evidence to put this phantom away for good. The defense has a piece of evidence that completely contradicts your claim. You have what now? A final fragment of hope that was passed down with great love and care. We do. We do. Even if the person holding it hasn't realized it yet.
Is this true, Mr. Wright?
Pay no attention to him, Your Honor. He's just bluffing, as usual. I wonder who'll be able to force your biggest smile when you see what I've got. I was going Edgeworth for a second. I don't know why. Try me. The piece of evidence that shows the original moon rock isn't completely lost is... attorney's badge. But just about the only things my mother left me with are widgets. And this earring. Maybe she did love me in her own way. Athena, you may not know it, but your mother left you with a very important piece of evidence. She did? You're bluffing. You don't have anything of the kind. Oh, but we do. Every evidence that will finally corner you, because we have a moon rock of our own. Yeah! Oh! You mean... Exactly. A gift Dr. Sykes left her daughter. An item Athena has cherished and worn all these years. As distant as Dr. Sykes may have seemed to her daughter, that fragment of her love will shake off the darkness of the past and give us all hope for the future. This is the defense's sample of the moon rock.
Take that!
That's your sample?
This earring that Miss Sykes always wears was made up from that original moon rock. What?
All this time? It was right here all along?
No. It can't be. If the composition of the bomb fragments and the earring are found to be a match, then it will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the origin of the fragment in this photo. And since the test results show that the blood on the fragments was yours, this means that the identity you tried so hard to hide will finally be revealed. The identity I tried to hide? I don't have an identity to hide. I may not have Athena's ears, but now even I can hear the fear in your voice. Fear? I don't feel fear. I left all my emotions behind years ago.
Objection!
Every human being feels fear. You simply can't face the emotions inside you. You can't face them because you have nothing. No love, no trust. And I suppose you do? I didn't have anybody to support me at first either. I couldn't face the fear inside me. Couldn't get over the trauma of my past. Even when Apollo was right next to me, he just did nothing for me. Like I said, I don't feel fear.
Objection!
Then you're just a coward for running away from yourself. When I had my doubts about Miss Sykes, I felt like I would collapse under the weight.
But I
wanted to trust her. And I knew I could trust Mr. Wright to uncover the truth. That's why I was able to face my suspicions without hesitation. Then I kind of had nothing to lose, so it kind of balanced out, you know?
running away from myself? How can I run away from myself when there's nothing inside? Nothing at all.
Objection!
I know it's hard for someone as unwilling to trust others as you to understand, but people have emotions. It's just a fact of life, and so, people can be weak at times. But that's exactly why people need to trust one another, so they can gain the strength to face themselves when things are at their bleakest. Without trust in others, how can you ever hope to face your fears? The fear inside of me. Is this... No. Ah! Ah! I'm afraid. I'm scared. I feel fear. You can't outrun yourself.
Remove that mask and unleash your emotions!
Confront your guilt head on. With your own true face. My own true face? No, please don't. I know you're here. Where are you? See? I haven't revealed anything yet. Honest. Ha! My own true face. I don't have one. My face, my face, my face. Is this my face? Is it? Is it?
No! That's not it! No! This isn't me either!
Is this me? What is my face? What am I? Who am I? I can't just... I can't do the scream with all the voices just in the cycling. Yeah, and then right after the breakdown, just Tango gets a call on his phone. Hello? Tango! Where's my mango? Lord Sith, this isn't a good time. I just took out our agent. That's no excuse! Where's my mango? I told you, buy me a mango! For God's sake! Where's my mango? I do a lot for our country, and yet here you are, just gallivanting. Don't buy Lord Sith the mango! Lord Sith is just in the bay in a submarine, just dealing with no mango!
A sniper attack in this very courtroom. It chills me to my bones. But the police are doing everything they can to track down the snipers we speak. Master Blackwell, how is Detective Fulbright? I mean, is Imposter doing?
He's a lucky fellow. The bullet didn't hit any vital organs. He appears to be in no danger of dying.
Well, that was fortunate for all of us.
The analysis of that final piece of evidence Right Donor submitted is in. The composition of Miss Lake's earring and the fragment with the blood on it match. We can now be certain that it is a fragment of the moon rock in question. The murders and the bombings at the Space Center, both past and present, the bombing of courtroom number 4, and all his other crimes, as numerous as the stars, under suspicion of all of these things, the spy known as the Phantom has been incarcerated. The prosecutor's office is now responsible for his well-being. There are still a myriad of things we wish him to tell us about, after all.
Thank you, Prosecutor Blackwell. Well, it's time to finally bring this trial to an end. But before I do, will the defendant please return to her proper place?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, this court finds the defendant, Athena Sykes. Court is adjourned. December 20th, 9:12 p.m. District Court, Defendant's Lobby, number 5.
Congratulations, Mr. Nick.
Thank you, Pearls, and thank you for being there for Athena.
It's the least I could do. But Athena was great, wasn't she? She was so strong throughout that whole trial. Daddy, I'm so glad to see you.
Trucy, are you alright? Are you hurt?
Oh, you shouldn't be asking that to me, Daddy. You should be asking that to Miss Blackwell. She's probably gonna have scars from what I did to her. All the knives I used. I'm fine, Daddy. I had my knives. I was doing magic tricks for the other hostages to keep our spirits up. I was throwing knives.
Just Trucy going out all out with the knives. Just perfect aim. That's our Trucy for you. I'm really glad to see you're safe. Right? I fear I owe you yet another debt of gratitude. Edgeworth. We never would have caught him if it weren't for all of you. Aw, come on, Edgeworth. What are you talking about? You're the ones who have been tracking the Phantom all this time. Plus, you were the one who gave Blackwell permission to serve as prosecutor, right? Yes, well, we knew the Phantom was somewhere nearby. The police and I were trying to find him, but we never did manage to do so until this trial. Well, we never would have won this trial without you. It was your help as chief prosecutor that was the key to its successful conclusion. Besides, it was you that saw to it that I got my attorney's badge back, wasn't it? So you figured it out, did you? Edgeworth, I never studied for the bar. I don't even know how I passed the first time. Yeah, I gave my license back when just a little too smoothly, you know? It should have been much harder after that evidence forging scandal. Right, the entire bar association, everyone on that bar association that took away your badge was corrupt. They were all arrested at one point or another. One was in a sex trafficking scandal, one was in an internet phishing scheme, one was embezzling funds in the prosecutor's office. It was a mess. Well, I owed you a few favors. Hey, Edgeworth, think we can finally bring the dark age of the law to an end? Even the darkest night turns to dawn eventually. Our sun will rise again. Besides, now that Prosecutor Blackwell has been cleared of all charges, a great deal of the mistrust towards the court system should have been swept away. You know, you could have said that with a bigger smile, Edgeworth. It won't kill you. Instead, the furrows in that brow of yours just keep getting deeper and deeper. So I should smile more, huh? I'll think about it. Ah, the complicated love-hate relationship between lifelong rivals. Sorry, didn't know if it was Simon or someone else. I'm forever in your debt. You've managed to redeem yourself. You finally managed to make up for your blunders all those years ago. You went to all that trouble, even taking the bar exam while you were overseas. Well, I knew that if I didn't get your sentences overturned fast, you'd be executed. So I studied and studied. I was frantic. I'm so glad I made it in time. Just barely, but I still made it. That a girl, Athena. It's good to see you finally let your tears out. Even though she's been crying for the entire game, right, Dono? Yes, I survived by the skin of my teeth, thanks to you. And I almost died because of you, Athena, so it balances out a little. Shame on you, Simon, for trying to throw your life away like that. What are you complaining about? You got to live a full life because of my sacrifice. What would you rather have? Just me sacrificing myself, or Edgeworth Dono sending you in for first degree? It was never my intention to just throw my life away. But some things in this world are more important than your own life. Like what? My honor-bound duty to protect with my life. My mentor's most beloved treasure. Huh? That's some loyalty. This guy really is a samurai through and through. Well, it looks like we can breathe easy now. Apollo, Athena, thank you both. It took all of us together to pull it off. You bet, boss. What team we are, huh? It was definitely the most amazing turnabout I've ever seen. I'm a lucky guy.
My office is the best, most capable lawyers around. Even Apollo.
This is right. I'm gonna work extra hard to make up for the worry I caused. Apollo Justice is fine and ready to go. Let's hear it for the Right Anything Agency.
Well, nobody's gonna try harder than me, so you better watch out, Apollo. Simon's free thanks to Mr. Right. But there's so many more people out there who need our help. You're right, and I'll be needing you both to help them. We still have a long ways to go. Get ready, you two. We won a major victory, but the war is far from over. There are still people out there suffering under false charges who need defending. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, if we ever hope to fully bring the dark age of the law to a close. Hey, I know one more thing we have to do. We have to celebrate with a bowl of piping hot noodles. Huh?
Nothing like a bowl of Eldoon's noodles after a trial. Oh, Mr. Right said.
Oh no, Apollo. After your little betrayal, you're paying for it. No! Furthermore, Apollo, as your boss, I'm ordering you to eat 3 bowls,
But they'll kill me!
Exactly, Apollo. Just like how you broke my heart. Or no, better yet, just Phoenix. Apollo, like you're getting Eldoon's noodles?
What do you mean?
Apollo, after what you did to me in that courtroom, after your little stunt, your little leave of absence, just you going lone wolf on me, I decided that it's only fitting that you have your own special little celebration meal, which is why we're taking you to a nice little French restaurant.
A French restaurant? Bonjour!
You have returned to me. I will make you all of the tip. I will make you my newest meal. It is a crab substitute that is made of the horse and the cat.
Mr. Right!
Enjoy your special, Apollo. Bon appetit.
No!
Just Apollo gets left at Trey bien.
That's how it works at the Right Anything Agency, right, Mr. Right?
Huh? As a boss, it's your duty to express gratitude to your people for their great work. Coming from you, Edgeworth, who cut your most loyal subordinate's pay to the brink of nothingness? As a difference, right? Gumshoe deserved the discipline, and I did raise it on one occasion, right? Granted, Gumshoe did have to help me solve two international scandals, but it got rose by 1%. In that case, allow me to join the festivities. I would greatly welcome a bowl of noodles. And then Simon thinks that's good soba quality noodles. Simon takes a look at Eldoon's noodles. He just like, what the hell is that? I don't want it. Simon, eat your noodles. Mr. Wright's paying for it. No, I refuse to sully my body with subpar noodles. I am a sober man. I am not going to betray my sober brand. I am a man of loyalty. You know that, Athena. You know that I'm willing to die for what I believe in. And I'm not going to eat that salty slop. And then Eldoon. And so that's what you're planning on doing. Well, in that case, I'm going to make you eat those noodles while you want to or not, onion boy. And then Eldoon just rips off his shirt. Let's go time. And then Eldoon just picks up a giant block of salt and chucks it at Simon and said, huh? I have an idea, Daddy. Why don't you just invite everybody involved with the case? The more the merrier, right? Oh, Mr. Nick, look how far you've come. Who knew you'd grow up to be such a generous gentleman? Guys, under these circumstances, there's only one thing I can say.
Only if I get to join in!
No fair! I want to say it too! Okay, here we go.
Objection!
Okay! Yeah, I'll talk about my thoughts of the series after we do the post-credits. I was trying to think of something nice I could do for Polly now that he's back. So I decided to go around and get a bunch of jobs for him to do. Find a lost cat, install an air conditioner, give a computer lesson, find a lost item. You think I should have found him a few legal cases? Nah, that's okay. This is the Right Anything Agency after all. Polly's our errand boy. Yeah, Apollo having to teach Phoenix how to use the computer.
Control-C, Mr. Right, Control-C!
Venus and Apollo were so wonderful in court. I better study as much as I can if I want to be a judge someday. My grandma says eat lots of peppers and they'll ignite your passion. Oh, I should figure out which to grow. Green peppers or yellow? Or maybe I should go with hot as the sun red peppers instead.
Yeah, Junie can't be a stalker for Apollo if she can't become a judge. She can't use nepotism to help Apollo out. Jupiter, the only judge who would actually go out of her way to help the defense.
The end of the dark age of the law, you say? Tisk, how naive. Don't you know it's sometimes necessary to get a guilty verdict by any means possible? What? They're putting me under investigation? The chief prosecutor wants to see me? Eek!
Okay.
I've been asked to debut the great masked wrestler Tenmataro.
He's scheduled to go up against the Amazing Ninetales next, though.
Oh, what to do? What to do? A fight to the finish with myself.
Why don't you ask Mr. Damon's lawyer to be the Amazing Ninetales, too?
That's not my idea. I bet he'd be all for it. Caw-caw-caw! So here we meet his foes. Oh, my little friend.
Yeah, Truce. I can just imagine Trucy definitely telling Apollo on that job. Apollo getting his ass kicked. Why do I come back here?
Would you believe it? I'm Alderman of Ninetales now. Pretty impressive, eh? I took over after rescue me for the good of my beloved village. What do you say? Would you like to make a little donation to help us out?
Hey, you! What do you think you're doing at the Dickens of the Manor?
Ah! The jig's up! Better make a run for it! I thought I wanted to be an artist, but after seeing the amazing job Athena did, I started becoming genuinely interested in law. So now I'm studying for the bar exam. I'm gonna prosecute Athena someday. USEE.
I'm studying my buns off too, but not for the bar exam. I'm gonna pass the Themis Interest exam on my own merit this time. With a score of 100 points, of course.
Hugh, Juniper, our dream will live on forever.
Yes, and then Hugh, don't worry, I got the best tutor.
Okay, time for me to teach you.
Sebastian just trying to teach with just sparkness.
I found a real street boss with the three of us. Is it because I want to be a legal justice to have a lawyer at law? Anyways, thanks to the trial, the school newspaper's future is as bright as can be. Now, let's see what the fresh blood have to say up in the new school paper. Our editor cried so hard at graduation rehearsal, her cardboard box got soggy.
Yeah, I love how just my Muriel voice just evolved into Buford from Phineas and Ferb. The one night only reunion concert. I still remember that evening of passion. The president of the student council sang like no high school student I've ever heard. When she's a judge in her own court someday, I'd love to have a jam session with her. It'd be the coolest time ever, Ja. I can already hear it now. Her forehead can play the triangle.
I gave this place a good clean from top to bottom, but it's already a mess again. I guess the only thing I can do now is clean up the attitudes of the people in this office, slap some sense into them. With this Maya due to come here once her training is over, it simply must be done. Mr. Nick and Mystic Maya can't raise a family in this mess.
Humanity's dreams for outer space will never die. In fact, planning for the Hat-3 rocket has already officially begun. Look upon me, people of this great nation, and witness the glory of Yuri Cosmos. What do you... Oh, Director! Yes. Rocket preparations are fully complete. Yes. You just leave everything to me. Assistant Director Yuri Cosmos, my corps will be glorious, the greatest in the history of space. Yeah, you know Yuri would just overthrow the current director. He'd just take his spot back.
I'm going to the moon in the new rocket. If Athena or Mommy Metis came to the moon, I would love to show them around, but which is more interesting, Montes Pyreus or the Mare Tranquilis? You think they would like either one? Yay, hooray!
I wonder how Miss Aura is doing. I'd rather be near Miss Aura than on the moon. Oh, Miss Aura, I just want you to use me again, like you used to! Why did you program me to be turned on by this? Why did you give me a kink like this? Why have you done this to me? Shame on you.
Ready for launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! I'm going to the moon for real this time. For me and for Clay. Thanks to my lures. I know now that I shouldn't give up. But I'm worried. You can't breathe in space. And in fact, it's cold as heck. Oh man, now I'm getting really nervous.
I simply came to request their services in defense of my sister. But no one's around and I've been kept waiting for a long time. And what sort of case brings you here? Oh, your father's was accused and you wish for Athena to defend him. You could do so much better than her. Then perhaps he and I shall meet in a courtroom in the near future. Seriously, you could do so much better than Athena. Did you hear about how she failed me 8 years ago? Hell, you'd be better off with Justice Dono. I look forward to your next monthly salary, says it.
Please forgive me.
That's right, I'm still cutting pays to this day. Blackwell's acquittal has brought all manner of ills in the prosecutor's office to light. It would seem solving the case has stalled the chills into the winter. Now I hope, oh right, it's another debt of gratitude. But I will repay him one day. You can trust in that.
And then Winston,
What the hell, Mr. Edgeworth? You're just firing my brother like that? He's a cornerstone. He's a good man.
Okay, but anyways, as far as my thoughts for this game, I have to say that basically just, all in all, just the dialogue for, my thoughts for this game, just starting from scratch, okay, basically. Just, this game, I was a little disappointed though, one thing that disappoints me with this game is just the lack of just overall area investigation, where basically you can't look at the anything agency, you can't look at anything outside of an investigation, which is a little sad, but hey, this game had some pretty good dialogue. I mean, this game had a pretty solid array of witnesses. Basically, I mean, there really wasn't a case that was on par with just Turnabout Big Top or Turnabout Serenity. In fact, this game was the first game to break the Case 3 curse, which basically the Case 3 curse is always that the third case in an Ace Attorney's game is always the most unremarkable of the bunch. Where basically in the first Ace Attorney game, it was Turnabout Samurai. In Justice for All, it was Turnabout Big Top. In Trials and Tribulations, it was Recipe for Turnabout, even though I actually liked that case. And then in Apollo Justice, the granddaddy of them all, Turnabout Serenade. Turnabout Serenade with that freaking guitar serenade song. And also another thing about this game, though, as much as I like the dialogue in this game, I like just the cross-examination portions where there are plenty of good moments. One thing I am not fond of is basically how this game, as well as Spirit of Justice, have a stance of just no real solid flow. Where basically just one thing you'll notice is that basically when we go into Spirit of Justice is that basically they will barely bring up anything that happened in this game. Just like how this game swept the events of Apollo Justice under the rug, where basically they have a stance of just, oh, this may be your first Ace Attorney game, so basically we don't want to spoil you on anything. But frankly, the thing is this: Ace Attorney has never been an episodic series, where basically there's always been just a general timeline that basically influences the series of events. So by having a stance of just where we're just going to very much where they're underplaying the events of the previous games, that's basically, that in the end kind of does hurt just the overall flow of the series. Where basically, while it doesn't really, it's not all that apparent if you're just looking at the games on a one-by-one basis. If you're playing them in a series, just, if you ever notice, the original Ace Attorney trilogy, basically, they kept things very solid in terms of the flow. Where you could definitely see how Trials and Tribulations is a continuation of Justice for All, and how Justice for All is a continuation of the original game. But with this one, it kind of feels like it's in its own limbo state, especially with how Phoenix, in a lot of ways, feels like he regressed back to his pre-Apollo Justice state, where it feels like just a 180 from how Phoenix was in Apollo Justice, where basically, okay, this cutscene.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Mr. Starbuck!
You'll be fine. Just believe in yourself.
The moon's closer than you think!
Thanks, guys. I wouldn't have made it back into space if it wasn't for you.
Ah, yeah!
All right!
And then basically, right as soon as Apollo says, you'll be fine, Mr. Starbuck, and then basically the rocket explodes. Apollo curses the rocket. Throughout the years, I've seen as much joy as I've seen deceit. But just as Mr. Starbuck was able to escape the harsh pull of his fears and despair, I believe that hope and friendship can lift us all up towards a brighter tomorrow. End. Yeah, just really trying to go with the edgelord angle with Blackwell right there. Just front and center with the night sky. Okay, got settings. Yeah, get a fighting game. Pearl would absolutely destroy everyone. Pearl would just flick you and you just instantly die. But anyways. No, I'm not going to go Spirit of Justice. We're not doing Spirit of Justice yet. A lot of the games like, you're going to Spirit of Justice. You're doing that now. You gotta see Phoenix risking death in the first and third cases. Anyways, but back to what I was saying. Basically, I always found it a little bit jarring how they just go straight from basically Phoenix being just this very jaded, this very cynical, just always keeping everyone in the dark, always being actually planning and using logic in Apollo Justice, to basically then all of a sudden Dual Destinies 1 year later, basically just pretty much all of those reservations are gone, and then basically Phoenix is back to how he was in the original trilogy. Because basically, I can understand Phoenix kind of letting his guard down, because basically Kristoff is no longer a threat, his name has been cleared, and he has no reason to really just seek justice in that regard. But after everything Phoenix had been through in that game, and basically during those 7 years of darkness for him, you would think that it would remain a little bit more there, where basically just there would be a little bit more of an analytical side to Phoenix, basically. Yeah, where the only time you really see that is when in Turnabout Academy, when basically Phoenix is like, we gotta investigate the crime scene now because he's afraid that someone's gonna tamper with the evidence. And then meanwhile, Edgeworth it's kind of funny how basically in both this game and Spirit of Justice, Edgeworth's character actually kind of regressed. Where basically Edgeworth just turns into an absolute ramrod. Where basically we're out of the courtroom, he's pretty much the same Edgeworth we know him as. But then basically he gets into the courtroom, and basically it's like, okay, I'm unleashing the Volcama wrath upon your head. We're basically we're comparing how Edgeworth is in Turnabout Samurai versus how he is in this case. Where basically, I understand that Edgeworth is a little more driven because he's like, oh, I got to solve the dark age of the law. The burden is on my shoulders. But then basically Edgeworth, 11-year-old girl, how do you first-degree murder? But anyways, on that note, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this series. It was great having you, and I hope to see you for the first episode of my next one, which will be uploaded on the date listed in the description of this episode. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever that you want, and with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.